Alright, so we're gonna get started on fitting the Hitchcock performance cams. Started by taking the cover off. Seemed like a hassle to remove the alternator wires, so I just zip tied this out of the way. Next up, I'm gonna see how easy it is to get this alternator magnet thing off before I do anything else, because I want this thing to go off first. We'll see how that goes, and I'll tell you what I found. Okay, got it off. It took it didn't have two long bolts, so but yeah, these are basically two bolts. Put a nut. Let's see if I get some light. Put a nut on the back of them. Took a piece of metal. This is a piece of a puller, but yeah, you can just take a piece of metal and drill some holes. Put a bolt in here to hold it back. And yeah, just tighten them until it says pop, and it's off. And it is. Okay, so took off the plate that's on here. You've got 3 Allen bolts. Put that to the side. Now we can see the cams. Before we can undo the cams, we need to take out the push rods. And for that, we need to access this. And for that, we need to remove the tank. Moving the tank is really easy. Just undo these 2 bolts. And yeah, a couple of the fuel line and maybe an electrical connector or 2. And that'll come off. Oh yeah, I took off the alternator magnet with an air gun. If you don't have an air gun, you'll have to block it with a screwdriver or something to take off the nut. That's all. Okay, so after removing the tank, we remove all the Allen bolts to take these covers off. Your coil is going to be in the way of the this rocker cover, so it's best you take that one off. And now we can see the push rod that we need to change. Yeah, so we just undo these 4 Allen bolts, take the push rod out, and put the new ones in. Now we can change the cams. Okay, so taking the left rocker cover off really wasn't that easy. It goes off, but only just, so you have to get it out from the other side. You have to like lift it up, wiggle it, take out the gasket, because that takes up space too, and really like wiggle it in every direction until you get it off to the other side. Yeah. Okay, so after you taking the rocker covers off, you undo these Allen bolts gradually until you can lift them up a little bit and take the push rod out. It's best that you make sure that the lobe of the cams are down or not pointing up. Then there's no tension on these. Next thing you need to do: take your Kickstarter, turn the engine until all the dots line up with each other. You can see, oh, where's the dot? That's hard to see. Yeah, you can see these dots line up. These dots line up. And then you're ready to take the cams off. First we're gonna take the, I think it was the old oil pump cam gear. Gonna take that one off first, and then we're gonna take these off. Yeah, forgot to mention one thing. What's very important is the backlash of the cams. I see some like videos of Indians completely taking away backlash, and if there's no play in here, that means when the engine gets hot or whatever, that it gets tight, and then you're gonna ruin the bearings. So You're not gonna be able to hear this. This bike has not a lot of kilometers, so this is almost new, and there is a slight bit of play. You can hear. You feel a little bit of play, and that's how it should be. You never take away all the play. There might be a little too much, but you take it away by moving this gear together more close. But yeah, make sure when you install new cams that there's always a slight bit of play. Okay, already put the new what is this, exhaust cam in, and adjusted the backlash. You're gonna have to sacrifice a 13 millimeter wrench, what do you call it, key, to make it flat so it fits in here while you tighten the nut. It's gonna take you a while before you get it. Well, it took me a while before I got it to where I want it. Make sure these are loose, are not tight, and there is a little bit of play. Yeah, so that's perfect for me. You start with the first one. Now we're gonna do exactly the same thing with the inlet cam, and then pop on the plastic oil pump gear, which won't need any adjustment because it's plastic. Yeah, next one. Okay, well, turns out that starting off with adjusting the exhaust to the crankshaft gear, and then adjusting the inlet gear to the exhaust is not a surefire way of getting this right. After I adjusted these two, I wanted to adjust this to this, but this one I didn't have a lot of wiggle room. This was always a little bit tight, so I had to restart everything. So yeah, you're just gonna have to try again until this is right, and it's very important that you get this right, because you don't want any heat to come, get in here because of these being tight and the bearings having way too much friction, because that will destroy your engine. So as you can see, there's a little bit of play. Well, as you can hear. Yep, and they're all loose. Oh fuck, yep. See, all the gears, you can freely move them. So that means there is a little bit of play in there, and that is necessary. So yeah, off to the next step. One thing to note is that on the original cams, you go like this, the inlet has this I think oiling system. Can't really see inside there, but I think this is some kind of a rotationally activated valve that lets a little bit of oil on the surface, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Why else would it be there? So yeah, that's a nice little feature on the original cams that the Hitchcock cams do not have. So yeah, would have liked to seen this on the Hitchcock cams also, actually. But yeah, something to note when you're installing these. I hope they last as long as the original. Yeah, sorry, I just started chugging along and forgot to film. Yeah, when you remount everything, yeah, just reverse order. Some things you need to note is that the plate that's in front of the between the alternator magnet and the cams, there are two shims. Make sure those are still in there. And behind the oil filter, there's a connection to the oil pump, and there's a O-ring. Make sure the O-ring is in there. When mounting the cover, I actually put a screwdriver in there so that the O-ring wouldn't fall out while I was mounting this. Yeah, yeah, pretty straightforward otherwise. Same thing you did when you took it off. Also, when you've fitted the cams, rotate the engine a couple of times to see if the engine is making compression. At first, the engine won't make compression because of the hydraulic lifters, because there will be too much oil in them. After a while, 10-15 minutes, they will set. The oil will bleed out of them, and then it will have the right length, and then the engine will make compression. Make sure you rotate it, see if the engine has compression, and yeah. Then mount everything back up. If you tighten these, make sure that you be careful. Don't just go ahead, just gradually, one by one, tighten them down. And you will see that there is tension on this because of the oil that needs to be squished out. Yep, that's pretty much it, I guess. I already started up the bike again. It runs like shit now at idle, so yeah, you definitely need to tune this after you install these cams. Hitchcock sells a power commander with the correct program and everything. You can buy it there. I chose to go with a cheaper option and get the Powertronic and tune it myself. So in the next video I'll be doing that, and maybe I'll share the file. I don't know if there's interest in that. Yeah, till next time.